Hello, my beautiful friends. I am Laurel Bleadon-Maffei with Illuminating Souls, welcoming you to this episode of Sleepy Bedtime Blessings, a podcast designed to help you rest, relax, and fall asleep, all while deepening in your connection with your beautiful team of angels who love you so. I am an angelic practitioner, a spiritual teacher, and an encourager of souls. And I have the most wonderful job ever. I offer one-on-one angel sessions, soul mentoring, and a variety of classes designed to inspire your spirit. I just love the work that I get to do in the world, and I feel so blessed, especially when I get to connect with you, and we connect with the angels together and help you connect with your divine guidance and your inspiration and your divine wisdom. And so to learn more about what I do, you can visit me at my website, illuminatingsouls.com, where you can also sign up for my mailing list. On my homepage, there are 2 different ways you can sign up for my mailing list. The top of the page is my regular mailing list, and if you sign up for that, you'll receive all of my announcements and newsletters. Further down on the page, there's a place where you can sign up for my daily inspiration email blast. And with that one, you will receive an inspiring email from me every weekday. In addition to that, I have just introduced my Earth Angels Oracle deck. So if you're someone who loves a good Oracle deck, I am happy to share this one with you. It contains 70 cards, all of which are inspiring and light-filled. The images are gorgeous. I created them in mid-journey, and so each one speaks to my heart, and I hope will speak to yours. And again, you'll find a link to the deck, both in the show notes and then also on my website. So it is truly a blessing to get to share the angels with you and the light workers' journey together. But for now, the angels and I are here to help create a sweet space of sanctuary for you. As I've shared with you before, I am someone who listens to a sleep podcast every night. It helps me drift off to sleep, and I created this one with that intention of introducing you to the world of sleep podcasts. And so if you use this as a sleep tool, I am grateful to be here with you. And I also know many of you listen during the daytime. So if I'm with you during your waking hours, it is a blessing to be with you as well. However you listen, I am grateful for an opportunity to be here with you. As I record this, it is early morning. That is my preferred time to record these episodes. It is still dark out. I can tell that we're moving more into fall because the sun is coming up later each day. So it's still dark out, which is sort of cool. You know, it feels very cozy and still. For me, there is a sweetness to this time of day. So I just invite you to take a deep breath in with me and let's just release. Release whatever it is. Just release and allow yourself to come present into the divine love that is here for you. This is not a love you need to reach for, nor do you need to earn. It is a love that exists in the same way your breath exists. In the same way you can feel the atmosphere around you, so is the love with you right now. And as the angels bring their energy forward, I will call them in. They are here already, but I love sharing the ritual with you. Because as I prepare to do this, I can feel the angels joining us, and they seek to help relieve you of anything that feels like a burden, anything that feels too heavy for you. They seek to help you carry, or carry in your name, because what is heavy to you is light as a feather to them. So let's take another deep breath in and out. Good. And beautiful angels on high, I am so deeply grateful for this opportunity to gather here together with you and our beloveds who are listening to this broadcast. I ask that you infuse this episode with waves of love and grace and kindness and light. And angels, I ask that you bring forward waves of healing, waves of ease, and waves of goodness and service to each one of our beautiful friends here with us now. And dear ones, just take some nice deep breaths in. And as I speak these words and attune to the presence of the angels, I feel them bringing a beautiful clearing. They are especially clearing the energy around the top of your head, and the back of your neck, and your shoulders, and your upper back. This is often where we carry the energies that feel heavy to us. And the angels are helping to clear this heaviness and transform it into prayers, prayers with wings. So whatever it is that you are worried about or stressing about, allow the angels to transform this into prayers of light on your behalf. Allow divine grace to flow to you. Divine grace flowing to you now. Imagine it is so flowing to your body, to the space around you, gently helping release the muscles at the back of your neck, your shoulders, your upper back, and your lower back. If you feel any tightness at all here, just sort of wiggle your shoulders and allow the angels to help clear this for you. And as you receive this clearing, the angels are asking me to share with you on their behalf about co-creation. You know, co-creation, law of attraction, all of those metaphysical principles that we love so much, they are indeed powerful tools for manifestation. The hiccup happens, though, when we perceive that we always must be doing something, being something, in order to manifest. And the angels are here to remind us that always are our co-creations and manifestations rippling throughout the timeline of our lives, that we need not be in a state of vigilance every moment of every day, that prayers, intentions, inspired action that you took years ago may still be in motion. So as you rest, even as you sit and watch television feeling utterly uninspired, it does not mean that your co-creations are not in motion. Your conscious awareness is not the only way to discern if creation is taking place in your name. I don't know if I've shared this story with you before, but since I can't remember, perhaps I haven't, and I'll share it with you again. So back in the early 2000s, I had the inspiration to write greeting cards. Did you know that writing prose for greeting cards is a thing? So back then, I had gotten some sort of writer's directory about places you can submit your writing. And there was a section for greeting cards. So at the time, my favorite greeting card company was Blue Mountain Arts. And I would always see their greeting cards at the car wash. They seemed to have great distribution into car washes. And they were always on this beautiful, heavy stock paper. And there were these long pieces of prose on the cards. And I thought they were just beautiful. And so I wrote some prose and I submitted it to them. And months later, I got a big envelope back from them. And they sent a very lovely note just saying these weren't right now, but thank you for my submission. And I was oddly excited about that because I felt it really meant I was a writer. I had submitted something and it had been rejected, but it was a complete circle of sorts. So fast forward to 20 years later, 2020 or 2021, and I receive an email from an editor at Blue Mountain. And she said that one of my pieces of prose that I had posted on Facebook, which was a prayer, she asked if I would agree to allow it to be included in one of their publications. And I said, of course. I was so excited. There was no compensation involved, and I was totally fine with that. I just said yes, and would you please then send me 2 complimentary copies of the book it will be published in? I thought that was fair compensation, and she said yes. And so in June of 2021, I get a package from Blue Mountain. My piece of prose is in a book called The Power of Prayer: Wisdom, Inspiration, and Comforting Reminders about the life-changing power of prayer. And my prayer is in this. So the reason I share this with you is it really feels to me that this was one of those beautiful divine co-creations that back in 2000 or 2001, whenever I had submitted to them, I had this dream, this prayer to be published by them. And then I let it go. I didn't think about it every day. I didn't put it on the altar. I had that experience. I received my loving rejection. It wasn't really a rejection, just, I'll say that for dramatic's sake. And then 20 years later, they invite me to have something published. And it also came with writer's guidelines that if I ever want to submit something to them, they would be happy to receive. And you know what's so interesting? Up until this moment, I hadn't given thought to what prayer was printed in this book. And I wanted to flip through to it so I could share it with you. And I just realized it is about sleep. How is that for serendipity? of all the different prayers I have ever published to Facebook on my Facebook page, the one that gets published by Blue Mountain is one about sleep. And I'm getting to share it with you on my sleep podcast. It's just like the giant chessboard of life, of co-creation, has been in flow for the past 23 years in service to this moment. So here is the prayer. Dear God, tonight as I sleep, please lift my worries and fears, and in their place put faith and inspiration. Help to seed my consciousness with love and joy, so I may awaken tomorrow with a deep sense of peace. Weave moments of laughter into my day, and please help me to be a blessing to others. Thank you, God, for helping me to remember the beauty of this life. So how is that for a beautiful full circle moment? Back in 2000, somewhere about then, I put out the prayer to be published by Blue Mountain. 20 years later or so, they ask if they can include one of my prayers in one of their books. Then, as I'm recording this episode, the angels say, let's talk about co-creation and how you don't always have to have your foot on the gas. They didn't say that, but I'm paraphrasing liberally here. And then of all the prayers, I really hadn't put two and two together until this moment. The prayer that got published is a prayer for sleep that I would reference back to in this moment on my sleep podcast that didn't exist when this was published. Unbelievable, right? So this journey of co-creation, we do not have to be in a state of vigilance about it. We don't always have to be doing or affirming or thinking. I think about that with my oracle deck. Ever since I fell in love with oracle decks, I've had this prayer, this vision, this idea of creating my own, but it seemed too big and out of reach. And this year the stars aligned to make it achievable for me in a very graceful way. So all the dreams of your heart, the visions that you've had over the years of what you would love to experience and do, I affirm that some of the most delectable morsels of your visions and dreams are still orbiting. And perhaps one day soon, they will wave hello to you and come knock on your door and allow something lovely to transpire for you. Isn't that a lovely thought? So let's take a nice deep breath in together. And once again, let's just release whatever needs to be released, just release it into the beautiful universe that loves you so. And my beautiful friend, while you rest, the angels will be with you, taking very good care of you. And while you rest, I am going to tell you a story, or 2, or 5. I don't know yet. But we'll discover the destiny of Storytime in this episode together. And I say we will discover it together because this is going to be another episode of randoms and rambling. I once again got caught up in the cottage cheese loop. Once again this week, I thought I was finally in a place to use the diet books that I had found at the estate sale, and I was going to do a snarky episode for you that I thought would be funny. And I was all ready to record that earlier this week. And then I got caught in my loop of, I don't really want to do this. And I don't know what your creative process is like, but what happens for me is like something takes up space and I can't move past it until I reconcile it. So it's why I posted a replay for the last episode, because on Monday I was going to record the episode and I was like, I don't want to. And on Tuesday I went to record the episode and I was dragging my feet. And I realized I really didn't want to record this episode. Not the one I'm giving to you now, but the diet cottage cheese episode that I have in my mind decided would be really funny if I ever made it. And I didn't want to, and I sort of, surfed the internet and kind of distracted myself until I just didn't have any more time to record an episode. So I think I've made peace with the fact that that episode is never going to happen, or maybe it shouldn't happen. I'm going to put those magazines into deep storage somewhere, or perhaps send them to the wonderful therapist that I work with who specializes in helping people like me. Maybe he can use them for something. I don't know. So for this episode, I decided I want to just make this super easy and fun for me, and maybe fun for you. And we'll do some randoms and some rambling. And I really don't know where we're going to go. So I thought maybe I would share with you some of the things that I am enjoying, some of the things I am distracted by. I'm really good at frittering away time. I love that the internet exists because I can go down a rabbit hole and it'll be 3 hours later and I will have no idea what I've just done, because I love to research things. I love to watch things. I'm a great passive viewer. So one of the things I have discovered this week, or I should maybe say has discovered me because of the way social media algorithms work, is that I have been watching crystal shops on TikTok doing live broadcasts where the host shows their different crystals and talks about them and sells them. You can buy them directly on the live broadcast. And I haven't bought anything at this point. I actually think the prices are kind of high. But as with any social media platform, once you watch or show interest in a niche, that's all you get shown. So there are dozens of these shops, and in any given evening, because that's usually when I'm watching it, there'll be 6 to 8 different broadcasts happening. So let me share with you what you might expect if you start watching these live shows, which I don't suggest you do, because they really suck you into a hole of passive hours-long entertainment. I don't know that there's any real reward to watching them other than it's better than watching The Real Housewives, I guess. So I'll share with you a couple of the different shows I've been watching. So there's one shop, and they cut the crystals live. So when I say crystals, I'm not meaning the gorgeous crystal clusters, right, that we all ooh and ah over. It's like they're part of a they clearly are a wholesaler of different kinds of rocks and granite and agate and things like that. And so there's this huge pile of huge pieces, and the host will find one and he takes it to his partner, who is on this huge tile cutting wheel, like the kind of cutting wheel somebody who's laying tile might use. It's a stone cutter, basically. And the guy is all outfitted in protective gear, and there's water that comes off the cutting wheel, because that's what happens when you cut tile or stone. You have to have water to keep things cool and lubricated. And so we watch as this guy cuts this piece of stone. And more often than not, he's cutting slabs. So he cuts the slab. We're waiting as the slab is being cut. And then he holds the slab out to his partner, who's the host. I think his name is Kylo. And Kylo goes, beautiful, this is beautiful, this is whatever it is. This is dreamy amethyst, this is rose quartz, this is fire agate, I don't know, whatever it is. And then he puts it on the scale and he tells us how much it is. So this is $12. And if you want it, you write C12, meaning you're claiming this piece that he just said was $12. And whoever goes C12, everybody else congratulates them. It's very nice. It's a great purchase, amazing claim. And this can go on for hours. And one thing I've noticed about Kylo is, you know, when you put something on the scale, or if you're going to the farmer's market and you're buying peaches and they put it on the scale, does your vendor round up or round down? Now, there's a whole art to rounding. We're taught in math that if it's below 0.5, you round down. If it's above 5, you round up. I have noticed Kylo always rounds up. He's a round up kind of guy. So I can watch this for hours. And then people will say, over there on the pile is that lapis. And I'll go and I'll dig through and I'll be like, this is beautiful. This is the most beautiful piece of lapis. And everything is the most beautiful thing ever. He calls everyone love. Yes, love. Yes, my friend. Yes, love. Everyone gets a term of affection. And I don't know why. I'm fascinated by this broadcast. Just watching the guy carve off these slabs. And there's something called dreamy amethyst that has these geometric shapes in it that's beautiful. But I don't know what I would do with these slabs. I love crystals. Wes loves crystals, but he loves the raw crystals. And I am not inclined to buy something off of a TikTok shop, but I am profoundly entertained by watching Kylo and his partner cut slabs of different rocks, and they call them crystals. I don't know that they are, but I'm deeply entertained by this. And so many an evening over the past week, I have just been watching this guy cut crystals. Maybe it's an ASMR thing, I don't know, but it seems so benign and interesting. It helps me disconnect. So that's one of the shows that I watch. I guess calling it a show, I don't know that that's the case, but so I've stumbled across them. One that I saw yesterday or last night is a woman. They have an enormous bin filled with lots of tumbled stones and like crystal chips kind of thing, and then there will be like crystal mushrooms and rose quartz hearts and some smaller slabs, and so you buy a scoop. So one scoop is $9.99, 2 scoops is $15.99, and you can get 8 scoops for $39.99. And so you place your order, and then she scoops it live. And she's like, let's all count together. It's a very romper room kind of thing. 1 scoop. and you're kind of watching to see, does this person get really good stuff in their scoop? And the host really does her best to make sure everybody gets really, really good stuff in their scoops. And then if you buy a certain number of scoops, you also get a tower and a ring and an apple. Like, you get all of these other things. And I was tempted. I was tempted to buy a few scoops last night, but I just didn't do it. I was like, this has not become my life. I am not becoming a crystal shopper on TikTok shops. I have to draw the line somewhere. I can watch them. I'm not going to purchase. Like, at some point, I need a line in the sand for my own well-being. But I was highly entertained by watching her scoop. But I don't think I saved that account because I couldn't find her again later. So that's the second one. The third one is a woman who, the host anyway, they are in Chico, California, because she has shared that with us. And the shop that she hosts for, I say that because I'm not sure it's her shop, has really beautiful crystal specimens, like gorgeous stuff, much higher end. So it's unusual that she would have anything under $50, and many of her items go into hundreds of dollars, even up to thousands. But they're really special pieces, very beautiful, and she gets up to 250 people watching her show when she's on. And she had some gorgeous pieces, gorgeous deep purple amethyst clusters, towers, beautiful lapis towers or tiger's eye towers. She had this beautiful oval sculptured piece of what she called pink amethyst, which I'm not familiar with, but it was beautiful, and it had these druzy pieces kind of coming through. It was $1,100. I don't think anyone claimed it. So again, the way you purchase is you type C and then the number of the price of whatever it is that they're showing. So C 550. And then they send you a link and you pay for it. And then the other part is they give you the opportunity to do a screenshot of whatever you purchased. So I love watching her show because her pieces are so beautiful. And she has a big following, and so everyone is very enthusiastic when somebody claims something that's beautiful. And I think it's kind of, I think it must be a similar culture to QVC or Home Shopping Network, right? You build a relationship with the hosts and the other people who are watching. So again, haven't purchased anything. And another one that I've seen that it's weird. I like it and I don't like it at the same time. Do you have anything you watch like that? Like, why am I watching this? So there's another show that I watch, but I don't love, but there's something kind of fascinating about it. So have you ever been to a sushi boat restaurant where there's the conveyor and the plates of different kinds of sushi go around and you pick what you want? So they're using that kind of mechanism. There's a conveyor belt table, and several of the different crystal shops use this. And there are these trays with different crystals that go around. And on this one shop, they have these blocks. So if it's a red block, it costs, I don't know, I don't remember what their prices are. I'll just say $19.99. If it's a green block, it's $29.99. And so there are numbers on the block. So if it's red A, you would then text your comment, red A, claim red A. And there's sort of a chaos theory to this particular shop where they sing and they chant and multiple people are talking and holding things up in front of the camera. And I haven't really seen anything on that shop I would be tempted to buy, but I think I tune in a little bit for the chaos theory. And then there are just a lot of others that show up on my feed now. It does get a little bit annoying that I watch. So I think at some point I will be done with watching these. It's just been keeping me not even entertained or amused, perhaps distracted in a good way for the past few nights. And I did watch a TikTok on how you can reset your For You TikTok feed, which I think I'm going to have to do because all they're doing is showing me crystal shops now. But it is causing me to really want to find a way to go to the Tucson Gem Show in February. When I lived in Los Angeles, Wes and I would go to some of the crystal shows where they had wholesale opportunities and we would buy beautiful pieces. So I think that's sort of been reinvigorated for me. Okay, other rambles and randoms. What else can I share with you? I'm still into estate sales. I'm really enjoying them. This past week, there were 2 that I attended on the same day. One was in El Sobrante. So El Sobrante is south of us and a little bit north of Berkeley. I have to get this in my head because I'm really bad at directions. And it was in the hills, so it was really beautiful. You would sort of drive up this hill. And I didn't go early. I went, I think maybe it started at 9 and I got there around 10. So I didn't necessarily have to wait in line or anything, which was nice. And I went because they had some coins, and what I haven't shared with you is the coin collecting bug has sort of bitten me. It's something Wes really enjoys, and I hadn't really been into it at all until I had this magical experience with a few peace dollars. I don't know if you know what peace dollars are. They are silver dollars, which were minted from 1921 to, I think at some point in the 30s or 40s, I don't know for sure. And it's a really beautiful coin. It's a profile of a woman, and there's like these rays of light shooting out from her crown. They're beautiful coins, and they actually are about 90% silver. So they're the silver value themselves, depending on where silver is on any given day, it's somewhere about $22 in value of silver, and typically, depending on the year and the mint mark, you can get them for somewhere around $30, and some of them are much more expensive. But I had this encounter with a peace dollar a few months ago and sort of became enchanted with this idea of coin collecting. Nothing too exorbitant, just the hunt, the treasure part of it, right? Going treasure hunting. So I went to an estate sale in El Sobrante last week, and they had some international or foreign silver coins. And so I bought some of them, and they were really fun. Again, nothing too expensive, just kind of a joyful treasure, right? Another coin that I have become so happy with is one from actually there's 2 from my childhood, neither of which have a lot of value, but one is the Kennedy $50. How many of you remember those? So the 1964 Kennedy $50 are 90% silver. So typically you can buy those now for $10. There's a few years after that where they're made of 40% silver, and they sell those for about $5. But all the rest of the Kennedy $50 are just face value, so they're 50 cents. And then the other coin that I am having a love affair with are the Eisenhower silver dollars, which are not made of silver. Some of them are, so if it's a proof set or something like that, they'll be made of silver. but the majority of Eisenhower dollars are nickel clad coins. That's what they're called, I think. So there's this very sweet gold silver coin shop in Napa that I have started to go to every once in a while if I want to buy a silver dollar, like a peace dollar or something. And he will sell me the Eisenhower dollars for $1.50. So I am paying a little bit of a premium, but I can buy 10 Eisenhower dollars for $15. And it makes me so happy. It's like my inner child feels wealthy. You know, I don't know if you've ever taken classes in abundance and prosperity, and one of the things they'll sometimes say is to carry $100 bill in your wallet so that you can feel wealthy. That never really was my jam. That never worked for me. But I have to tell you, having 5 or 10 Eisenhower dollars connects some sort of prosperity loop in me. They're hefty, they're substantial, they clink together, and they make a lovely sound. And I love that I can get them for not a lot of money. And they'll also sell me just the regular, ordinary, nickel-clad Kennedy half dollars at face. So I know he thinks I'm a little odd, but I go in there and I might buy one peace dollar. That'll be $30, let's say. And then I might get 5 Eisenhower dollars and 5 Kennedy half dollars. And I'll just be so happy. It makes me feel very, very wealthy. And it just amuses me. I did not have the joy of coin collecting on my bingo card for 2023. So I went to the estate sale in El Sobrante on last Thursday, and I got some really fun coins. I got like a beautiful silver coin from the Bahamas, and I'm trying to remember what else I got. Oh, I did get an Eisenhower. I was so happy about it. It's a beautiful Eisenhower. I think it's a bicentennial one. I was very happy about that. And then I went to another estate sale in Martinez. And my GPS took me on this 2-lane road all across the hills. It was so beautiful. I'd never driven that way before. So the whole drive, I'm just enamored with what I'm seeing. It's farmland. It was beautiful. And this house was magnificent. It was up this hill. It almost looked like a round house. I don't know that it was. There were lots of stairs involved. And whoever had lived there had been an amazing collector of things. This was a very refined sale. And I went there because they had said they had coins, but all the coins were sold by the time I got there, which is fine. And I didn't find any treasures there that I bought. So they did have some of the old Rubbermaid containers that I liked from the 90s, but they wanted $5 a piece for that, and I thought that was a lot of money for someone's old, used Rubbermaid containers. So I didn't buy them. But it was cool to see the house. Like, I think that's one of the things I am remembering about estate sales is how amazing it is to see these beautiful houses and how people live. And so I did 2 estate sales last week, and I did get some fun coins. And kind of back to the coin collecting, I've always had a really weird relationship with money. One of the things when I'm teaching about abundance and financial flow is I invite people into contemplating what is your money myth. Like, we all have a money myth. And the money myth in our family, this is my perception of it, was that we always have enough. We always had enough. In our family, we always had enough. We were an upper middle class family. Both of my parents worked. I got to go to college. My sister did too. My brother did too. We were not the kind of family that had the discretionary income to go to Disneyland every year, much to my dismay as a child. But as I've shared with you in other podcasts, we would take road trips. So we had enough. And listen, by the measure of some people, we were very wealthy. So I'm not diminishing our privilege. I'm just saying in terms of the money myth, we always had enough. But we also weren't in the overflow. So my whole adult life, I've always had enough. And listen, having enough is awesome. I do not bemoan my enoughness, having enough. But I've never been someone who has had a lot of overflow. So wealth building, I intellectually understand how it works. It's not necessarily something I've ever participated in a big way. So when Wes and I talk about our money myths, mine is my enoughness. I have enough. How much do I earn in my business? I earn enough. When you see people, selling classes like how to build a 6 or 7 figure business, and that sounds delightful, and that has not necessarily ever been my drive. I have enough. I have what I need, which is great. But if you're living the line of enoughness, if you have a slow month, it's like, I don't have enough. So enough is a really powerful concept. So one of the things about finding these coins is not necessarily that they have incredible value, which is cool. If I find coins that I get for $1 and they're worth 40, that's a cool experience. But I love that they invoke in me this sense of abundance. So even though my Eisenhower dollars are really not worth much more than their face value, or my Kennedy half dollars are only worth 50 cents each, there is something about the enchantment of my childhood with these big silver coins. I was saying to my sister, this is Afikoman money. And those of you who aren't Jewish might not get that reference, but during the holiday of Passover, at some point during the Seder, the adults hide a matzah that's called the Afikoman. And after dinner, all the kids go and search for the Afikoman. And in my childhood, we would often get a Kennedy half dollar or an Eisenhower silver dollar as part of our prize, which was delightful. So I think of my Kennedy half dollars and my Eisenhower silver dollars as Afikoman money. And it makes me so happy, and it invokes this sense of magical wealth in me that doesn't make sense to my adult mind, but it just makes me happy. So those are my rambles for you right now. I've been watching these TikTok crystal shops, some of which I think are in China, another which is in Chico, California, another that I don't know where they are. I'm watching this guy cut crystals, fascinated by it. I am going to estate sales. I am oddly fascinated by coins all of a sudden. And as for other randoms that I can just sort of fill some time with, Wes and I are going to do a harvest of more of our tomatoes this weekend. We're getting towards the end of our tomato season, but we still have a lot of tomatoes on the vine, so we will be bequeathing more tomatoes to people over the coming days. I am crocheting an Afghan for my cousin, so I am working on that. It's this beautiful, heavy gray yarn, And then I have a bunch of Afghans in the queue that I will be making. This is a total random, non sequitur. It really doesn't belong here, but hey, it's a sleep podcast and you might be asleep by now. I don't know how the bakeries work at different Costco's in the regions, but in our regional Costco's, they have introduced this amazing, almost like sour, I don't guess it wouldn't be sourdough, but it's this cinnamon raisin loaf that looks like a sourdough loaf in the bakery. It's $7.99, and I bought it last weekend, and Wes and I are officially obsessed with it. It is the best thing we have had in a long time. And every day, every night this week, when Wes comes home from work, he looks forward to having his slice of this amazing cinnamon raisin bread with butter on it. So we have our bread, and we are so happy. And maybe that is the thread that will weave together my randoms with you. It's just moments of delight, like moments of entertainment, moments that just are satisfying. Right, when I'm watching my crystal TikToks, watching that guy in China, I think he's in China. I don't know why I think that, but I don't know. Maybe they're here in the US. I don't know. For some reason, maybe they mentioned it at some point. I could be completely wrong, but wherever he is in the world, it is so satisfying watching him cut a slab off a piece of rock and then show it to us. And it's so satisfying watching the sushi boat conveyor belt filled with different crystals go by my screen. And it is so satisfying watching the woman in Chico holding up these gorgeous crystal specimens and watching someone else buy them. And it is so satisfying finding or buying my sweet little coins that make my inner child feel rich, or having my slice of cinnamon raisin bread from Costco. And just so you know, this is not the manufactured sliced bread. This is from the bakery section, and it looks like the size of a big round loaf of sourdough, but it's cinnamon raisin bread. So good. So those are my randoms and rambles and things that are delighting me right now. Oh, and our tomatoes. Totally delighting me. I have been having sandwiches for lunch almost every day because of the tomatoes. I get this amazing sliced sourdough bread. So I'm on a whole bread thing right now. And I am making the most luscious sandwiches because the tomatoes are so good. I toast it up. I love toasted sourdough bread for my sandwiches. And it involves a lot of tomatoes. And I like the Kewpie mayo. And then whatever else is on it. But the feature is the tomato. So those are all the things that are delighting me. I mean, more than that is delighting me right now, but those are my randoms for you in this episode, which completely beats my having read through my old diet magazines, which I really don't want to do because it'll just get me mad all over again. And right now I feel positively delighted. And during the last hour, as I've been recording this for you, the sun has come out. So I started this in the pre-dawn hours before the sun had risen. And now here we are, the sun is up. And perhaps where you are, it is nighttime and you are drifting off to sleep. So wherever you are in the orientation of your day, I send you love. I wish you the sweetest of dreams. I wish you goodness. I wish you delight. I wish you abundance. And I wish you blessings. I love you very much, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you.